going on?
Routine check. Need to search you.
You smell nice.
Kelly, a beautiful and graceful woman, waits by the roadside for her fiancé. Suddenly, a sports car pulls up, and a wealthy man inside starts harassing her. When Kelly's fiancé, Ray, returns, she urges him to leave to avoid trouble. However, the rich man persists and even exposes himself at her car window. Enraged, Ray knocks him out with a single punch and then takes down his accomplice as well. The rich man retaliates by pulling out a knife and stabbing Ray, who, in self-defense, throws him against the car door, unknowingly killing him. Having recently returned from the army, Ray only intended to teach him a lesson but accidentally caused his death. As a result, he is sentenced to 1 year and 4 months for manslaughter. Kelly promises to wait for him and urges him to behave in prison. Meanwhile, the rich man's father, furious at the short sentence, bribes the warden to ensure Ray never leaves prison alive. The corrupt warden enlists his henchmen, Harvey and Fox, to make Ray's life miserable. Upon arriving at prison, Ray and other inmates are subjected to a security check. A prison guard named Rico begins harassing Ray from the very first day. Later, Ray is taken to Jack's office, where Jack reviews his background and learns that Ray was in the military for 12 years, including 4 years in Iraq, and had even received a medal for bravery. Jack initially acts friendly, but it's all part of a larger plan. Ray is warned by a senior guard, Williams, to follow the rules if he wants to avoid trouble. Over time, Ray bonds with other inmates. One day, he gets into a fight, and a gang led by a prisoner named Mason intervenes to protect him. The fight escalates until Williams steps in to break it up. Later, Ray is assigned to work in the prison library, where he meets an older inmate named David. One day, Rico and his men search his cell and find a picture of Kelly. Rico taunts Ray by licking the photo provocatively before tearing it apart. Enraged, Ray tries to retaliate, but the guards restrain him. Rico, along with 2 other guards, Victor and Fox, continue tormenting Ray. Rico goes too far at one point, and Victor hesitantly steps in to stop him. Later, while taking a shower, Ray is attacked by a large inmate named Hammer. Hammer tries to assault him, but Ray fights back. Rico arrives, beats Ray up, and drags him to Jack's office. When Ray insists that he was only defending himself, Jack coldly tells him that such things are normal in prison and that he needs to accept it. When Ray protests, the guards beat him until he stays silent. During lunch, Ray talks to David and notices a young inmate named Jade, the youngest prisoner there. Ray and David bond over their pasts, with David revealing that 15 years ago, he and his brother stole a large sum of money and killed a police officer in the process. David's brother was also killed, and to this day, no one knows where the stolen money is, except David. Meanwhile, Kelly comes to visit Ray, but the guards cut the visit short. The guards keep provoking Ray, but he controls his anger. Later, Mason offers Ray protection inside prison, but only if he joins his gang. Meanwhile, Jade is frequently harassed by Hammer. When Jade resists, Hammer beats him, but Ray steps in and fights Hammer off. Williams stops the altercation. Ray continues to face pressure from the guards. One day, while cleaning toilets, another inmate picks a fight with him, leading to a brawl. As usual, Rico arrives, but this time, Jack is with him. Jack brutally tortures Ray with a baton. Later, while the corrupt guards take a break, Victor expresses his reluctance to continue tormenting Ray. He threatens to report them if they don't stop. Williams, who had been unaware of the bribery and abuse, overhears this and reprimands the guards for forcing Ray to do degrading work. Meanwhile, Rico and Fox inform Jack that Victor is backing out. Jack orders them to deal with Victor. Soon after, a routine prison search leads to a sharp weapon being found on an inmate. The inmate is forced to clean toilets as punishment, only to discover Victor's dead body in the bathroom. It becomes clear that Rico and Fox staged the murder and framed the inmate for it. During his free time, Ray asks David about Mason. David explains that Mason runs a major drug operation from inside the prison. Mason notices Ray and David talking and warns Ray to be careful about who he trusts. One day, while Ray and David are showering, Mason's gang suddenly attacks an inmate who previously fought with Ray, killing him. The victim was from a rival gang, and Ray is blamed for the murder. Ray meets with the rival gang's leader and convinces him that Mason's gang was behind it. Meanwhile, Jade is again assaulted by Hammer, but this time, he fights back and stabs Hammer. Separately, Kelly visits Ray again but is humiliated by the guards, who force her to strip for a security check. Secretly, the guards record her undressing to provoke Ray. Later, they show Ray the footage, causing him to lose control. He argues with Kelly during their visit but soon regrets it, realizing the pressure is affecting him. Meanwhile, Mason, furious that Ray hasn't joined his gang, orders the guards to bring Ray to him. They drag Ray to a workshop, where Mason threatens him and says he can harm anyone Ray cares about. Pushed to his limit, Ray snaps and fights back, but the guards beat him until Williams steps in to stop them. Ray is thrown into solitary confinement. Suspicious of Jack, Williams starts investigating why Ray is being targeted. Meanwhile, after weeks of isolation, Ray is nearly driven insane. Once released, he becomes cautious of everyone. Williams, still holding a grudge, orders Jade to stab Ray. However, since Ray has always protected him, Jade refuses. Furious, Mason hugs Jade, only to stab him to death. Ray, enraged, confronts Mason and challenges him to a one-on-one fight. Jack, wanting Ray to be trapped in prison forever, allows it. Ray overpowers Mason and is about to kill him, but David silently signals him not to. However, Mason grabs a knife and lunges at Ray, but David steps in and takes the hit instead. Mason is later killed by the rival gang leader. In the end, Williams tricks Jack into admitting that he was bribed to keep Ray in prison forever. His confession is secretly recorded, leading to his arrest, along with Rico and Fox. Before dying, David reveals the location of the stolen money, asking Ray to use it to build a better life and to give a portion to his estranged daughter. Ray is finally released and retrieves the money, ensuring David's daughter receives her share.